up in Tyne and we're not doing an awful lot, to
No.
be honest. And there's an opportunity for what we call a family fun day. I don't know if because I've sent it to you to put on, where lots of organisations can come together, but we're always invited to them, and it's completely free, and it's a really informal way of people just coming in to find out about all sorts of information locally. And I personally think we need to do a bit more outreach. So we're actually reaching out to people as opposed to waiting for people to come to us. So, sorry, I'll shut up
That's
now.
fine. I can see where you're coming from, aren't you?
Yeah. So, are we ready to start?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Start.
Hello, Martin.
Good.
Really good to see you. We just wanted to talk a little bit generally about yourself. I believe that you're sporty, but maybe not at the moment. So, what's been happening?
Well, with my foot, it turns out I've got a stress fracture in my foot. And funny enough, it happens to be that it's possibly been caused by all the training I've been doing for my sport.
Oh, okay.
So, in a nutshell, the pressure of bouncing off the wall in the swimming pool has kind of built up and damaged my foot.
Oh, dear. So, what swimming do you do? Which events do you do?
Okay, well, as I say, as a lot of people know, with Tuberous Sclerosis, you can have to end up having to have kidney transplants done. And that's what's happened to myself. And instead of resting on my laurels thinking, oh, pity me, I've had a transplant done, I've always been sporty, and I knew about an event called the Transplant Games. And I attended them and felt I was a pretty good standard at them. And then, having had success at the British Games, it turns out an opportunity then came to represent the country at the World Transplant Games. And since then, I've never looked back. It's took me all over the world. And then last year, we was in Argentina, in a city called Mar del Plata. And I managed to achieve one of my ambitions, which was not only to win a race, but break a world record.
Fantastic.
So it was really good. It's a fantastic
That's
experience.
A gold medal.
Yeah, I managed to get 5 gold medals and a silver medal. And then what was brilliant about it as well, the relay team also broke the world record in the medley relay, which is a mixture of breaststroke, front crawl, backstroke and butterfly.
Fantastic. So what's your stroke?
I enjoy doing like the breaststroke and freestyle.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. And how much did you smash it by?
I broke it by about 2.5 seconds, and that was over a 200 metre distance.
That's fantastic.
And it was good in a way as well, because I took the record off one of my colleagues from the British team.
Oh, okay.
So like he'd moved on and he's in an older age group. So yeah, it's like good to replace him with a Great Britain and Northern Ireland team member.
Wonderful. And so what's next on the agenda when your foot's better?
As I say, I'm just going to take a little time out on that, because I managed to achieve one of my ambitions on that. And obviously I need to get me all sorted out first, but I might perhaps try different sports and that. I used to do a lot of running as well, and I'm gradually getting back into that as well.
Oh, okay.
So I go out like jogging with a group every Wednesday as well. And
what would be your preferred distance?
So it's if with the running side of it, I just enjoy like doing the shorter ones, really, like about 3 miles, and not nothing too far. You can go along, enjoy it, and you're done with them at 20 minutes. And
no marathons yet?
No, I used to do marathons like before I'd had my transplant done in the past, but so I'm not as good as I used to be with running, but I just did more to enjoy it rather than competitively, to be honest.
That's brilliant. So what about Outlook? What do you like about Outlook?
I would say what's particularly brilliant about it is I've been involved more or less since the very start, and what was so funny about it, you got the details through and that, and you saw like the TS newsletter at the time, and you think, oh, shall I go along? And with it being in Birmingham and with me living near Birmingham at the time, you think, well, if I don't like it, I can always go home and that. You've got that comfort blanket kind of approach. And I went along and really enjoyed it. But then also the funny thing about it, though, is that I was actually talking to one of the girls at the actual event, and I said, oh, I'm coming up to Newcastle to do the Great North Run. And she said, oh, I've got a spare room at my mum's house, you can stay there. And then ironically 3 years later we got married.
Fantastic.
So this December we've been married for like 17 years.
Wonderful. So, she comes as well,
doesn't
she? So
Catherine's here with us as well, so
driving you all that way?
Yeah, exactly.
It is quite well. No, it's brilliant. So Do you like all the things that you do, sort of at Outlook and everything? All
Yeah,
the
it's-
activities?
Yeah, it's really good because, say, you get involved, you get to meet new people and that, and being in the position you are within the group, and that because you've been here quite a while, you can see people turning up, looking around, as you would have been yourself on the first event, and that because you've been through that and you can understand where they're coming from, you think, yeah, let's go and have a chat and say, hi, I'm Martin, and where are you from, and that sort of stuff, and they can also like kind of open up to you as well, because to a point you can be a kind of like lay psychologist in a way, because you've gone through a lot what they're going through anyway, and they said, oh, I'm having this issue and that, especially like renal stuff, oh, this is happening. And even after I had my transplant done, there's a lady here as well, and she had a transplant done shortly after one of the weekends, and I was telling her what I'd gone through personally and that, and just giving her some reassurances.
That's brilliant.
And that, and it's any way you can help people like that, it doesn't cost anything to give like your life experience to other people, and it can help them along the way as well.
Fantastic. And since your transplant, you feel things have got better?
Yeah, yeah, it's gone really well, and that I get reviewed regularly at the hospital and that, and in their eyes, they actually class me as super fit.
I bet. That's a fantastic achievement. You must be so proud of
Yeah,
yourself.
that's the thing, and
Your
it's
family and everything.
yeah, exactly, because it's been good because my dad donated the kidney to me as well anyway, so yeah, it's like brings the family close together.
Brilliant. They must be so proud of you. That's fantastic, Martin.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're an inspiration. You
Cheers.
are. I wanted to come in because actually I do swimming. I used to swim competitively. So I know how hard the training regime. I'm not even going to say that I'm even slightly near you, but I do understand all the strokes and how much wear and tear as well. And I also run as well. I'm doing the Southampton half next week.
Because
So
that's what I used to.
they sort of go together in a very strange way. I think it's that stamina.
Because I think I used to like go to the pool, 6 o'clock in the morning, swim just short of 2 miles, go outside, get on my bike the 7.5 miles to work, do my 11-hour shift at work, bike back, and then go to bed. And on the next day, be up 5 o'clock in the morning, get to the gym, do a gym session instead, and then perhaps get the bus that day, and then like going out doing running, like like the park runs and that.
Yeah.
To do like the toning to get my legs stronger.
I think triathlon next for you.
Well, I think it's something I fancy doing. It's like because I've got a pretty decent bike, which is like triathlon standard, and they say I can still run reasonably quick, and I keep ticking over the swimming. And Kate was over there before. I helped get round the Great Manchester Swim.
Brilliant.
Because she said I want to do the swimming, so I used to travel down to Durham and help her train down there.
Fantastic.
And yeah, she managed to get round in just over an hour.
That's brilliant. You're really inspirational.
Cheers, thanks. Mind you, I fancied doing the swim anyway, and when she said, oh, you're going to get free entry, I thought, right, I'll do me, out for now.
Fantastic.
Okay,
No, thank you, Martin.
That's all right, yeah.
Brilliant. And, well, you're just talking to us, really.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
I'll
That's
come
all
out
right,
with
yeah.
you anyway.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Grab the next pool bit.